With me now is Stephanie Doze, the President of the Senate of Belgium. Stephanie, thank you so much for being with us. Before we get to what Mr. Zelensky actually had to say, I want to talk about what the ambience was in the room, because you had this sort of coming together of the different parliaments in Belgium, the federal parliament and also the regional parliaments as well, which is quite remarkable. And then on top of that, you had a violinist playing the Ukrainian national anthem before Mr. Zelensky spoke. Just walk us through what the mood was there.
Well, good evening. As you already said, it was quite historical that all the political parties, all the regional parliaments were represented in the federal chamber. This is quite historic. And on the other hand, it was very, very emotional. Before Mr. Zelensky spoke, there was the anthem from Ukraine, who was made by Polish musicians, and it was very moving. And Mr. Zelensky stood up and he held his hand on his heart, and it was for us very emotional. A lot of people, I saw them, they were crying.
So people were very emotional, but does what Mr. Zelensky said, will it rather have any impact? Because, I mean, he roughly says, obviously he tailors what he's saying to each particular audience, but the sort of headlines are roughly the same. Of course, he still wants a no-fly zone, and I understand that's what he said to Belgian lawmakers today. We know that that's highly unlikely to happen for various reasons. Beyond obviously people crying and people wearing the Ukrainian colors, blue and yellow, and people getting emotional and giving him a standing ovation. Does anything in terms of what he said today, will anything have an actual impact on the ground in terms of what the Belgians are going to do differently?
Yes, well, as always, Mr. Zelensky was very open. He was, of course, resilient and hopeful. He started on talking about Mariupol, where he was telling about that the city is destroyed, but the people are still fighting. And he made a comparison with Egypt, which much worse. And of course, he asked for the no-fly zone, but he also thanked the Belgian people and the Belgian government for the humanitarian aid and also the military aid, and of course, the taking in of refugees. And our Prime Minister responded. Our Prime Minister responded, of course, on the no-fly zone. You know what the answer is on that, but he was quite frank to President Zelensky that the no-fly zone would mean that we are shooting Russian planes, and that would mean, of course, an escalation, and that might engulf a Third World War with blood, without any reason or solution, and that NATO, of course, is not a part of the conflict, and it should not become one. Second, of course, we already sent weapons to Ukraine, but as we speak, is more aid on the way. So I cannot tell you which weapons they are, of course, by security reasons, but still it is again a wake-up call for our governments, for our parliaments to do much more.
Right, so what changes at this point? You talk about Prime Minister Alexander De Croo addressing or responding rather to Mr. Zelensky, saying, listen, we can't give you a no-fly zone because you know that that's going to mean a massive escalation in the war. We're not going to be shooting down Russian planes. We all know what that would mean. But we know that in terms of what Belgium has done already, they've already expelled 21 Russian diplomats who have been believed to be guilty of espionage, that sort of thing, on the humanitarian front, taking in more refugees. What more, though? You talk about weapons as well. What more can Belgium do you think, here?
Well, from the beginning, Belgium was a fierce advocate of sanctions that bite, that really hurt. And we see that now. We see that the sanctions are working. And let there be no mistake, the sanctions are here to stay for a long time. And we see that also on the floor. We see that Russia is getting weaker and weaker. So I also told you about the new weapons. Of course, they are coming. And we were also talking about the EU membership. Of course, Belgium has a huge role to play in this. And we also said that the official membership is taking a very long time. Of course, we know that. But we will not let the Ukrainians wait until this whole process is done. So we must start working on an economic union, an economic integration. This is very, very important about trade. So, of course, we are having strong economic ties with Ukraine, but we are making now the Ukrainian economy as part of our economy.
Right, Stephanie Doze, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, still to
Bye.
come here on One World, we'll take a deeper look into the unforgiving toll of war and speak to a member of Ukraine's parliament who has endured unimaginable loss himself during this brutal conflict. Stay with us.